Call to order the business meeting of the Florence City Council. Will you please stand? We pray for the wisdom to make decisions that are beneficial to the people represented here. Empower us to speak honestly, reflect wisely, and vote with integrity. We seek your guidance tonight. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Present.
Ms. Chambers.
Here.
Mr. Wynn.
Here.
Ms. Kemper.
Here.
Ms. Wingo.
Here.
Mr. Osborne.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
We have approval of the minutes of the special meeting, November 6, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Mr. Carroll?
Second.
Second, Ms. Wingo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have first reading of ordinance 019-2024. It's an ordinance adopting and approving a zoning map amendment from suburban residential 1 to urban residential 1 for an approximate 28-acre site located along the east side of Gunpowder Road, including the property at 9104 and 9108 Gunpowder Road, and the property having a parcel identification number of 062.00-00-120.00, Florence, Kentucky, to allow for the development of a 284-unit multifamily residential development. The effect of this ordinance is to allow a zoning map amendment from suburban residential 1, SR1, to urban residential 1, UR1, for an approximate 28-acre area located along the east side of Gunpowder Road, including the property at 9104 to 9108 Gunpowder Road, and the property having a parcel identification number of 062.00-00-120.00, Boone County and Florence, Kentucky, to allow for the development of a 284-unit multifamily residential development in conjunction with the proposed annexation of the approximate 28-acre site into the city of Florence, Kentucky. The full text of ordinance 019-2024, including its exhibits, is available for examination in the office of the city clerk, City of Florence, Kentucky, 8100 Ewing Boulevard, during regular office hours. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Ms. Wingo? Second, Mr. Wynn. Ms. Wingo or Mr. Wynn, would you like to say anything, or Mr. Hunt?
Just that we reviewed this at council last week. We also, the Planning and Zoning Committee, reviewed this project with the developers at one of our committee meeting. We were comfortable with all of the changes that were implemented to the concept development plan, which reduced the number of units, and the conditions that were set forth by the Planning and Zoning Committee, and made that recommendation to council to approve.
And just for clarity, Josh, the way it reads is due to the original request to the Planning Commission, but the units have been reduced,
They
correct?
have.
And
And depending upon when Gunpowder Road reconstruction project gets finalized, there's a chance that density will go down even more. A high likelihood, actually.
Yeah, the concept development plan was resubmitted, and it has a reduced number of units in the concept development plan.
I know it's probably confusing because the ordinance talks about 284 units, but at the end of the day, that's not what is going to be
Correct.
approved for that site.
What's shown on the approved concept plan is what will be approved. If they go for any more density, they'll have to go through the process again.
Any other discussion?
For the record, the timelines.
Sure. Todd, why don't you drive this thing here? Phasing map.
Okay, so this is the approved concept plan on screen. It was approved, or I'm sorry, submitted to the City of Florence on October the 16th. So you can see the first phase in purple. Again, this is not part of the zone change limits, phase one, that is the single-family residential area. So that would occur as early as 2025. And then each subsequent condo phase, the first one, phase two in blue, would start in 2026. And then every 2 years, another condo phase would start. So phase three in orange, phase four in red, and phase five in green. And you can see the dates. Once again, each condo phase is spaced out 2 years. And that unit count that we were talking about was 264 two-bedroom units.
And that potentially will be reduced by the
The ro-
two buildings that are with the arrows pointing to them that may or may not develop with consideration of Gunpowder Road
That is correct.
construction.
Correct.
And the phasing of this, I mean, the developer talked a little bit about it last week. When they get done doing their traffic study, they're gonna have to submit all the improvements that the state will require. Chances are it is a very expensive, the acceleration lanes, different things like that, that's gonna have to be tore out when they reconstruct Gunpowder Road. I see these phasings getting pushed back. The developer's not gonna waste hundreds of thousands of dollars for it to get tore out and possibly have to put it back again.
And each phase does not begin until the previous one is completed.
Correct. And we have very specific conditions about occupancy permits that would prevent that from happening.
Make sure I'm understanding. I thought that the phases, the maximum you could do in a phase is 55 units.
That is correct. That is one of the conditions as well. So
So if they were still constructing and they hadn't constructed their 55 units,
yeah,
could there be the potential that they could start the next phase?
correct. I
So
would
just to
say
be
yes,
clear.
they could start the next phase, but yes, they can no more than ever do 55 in a year. And again, one phase can't start until there's 2 year spacing. So depending on how they determine they construct them.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen?
Yes.
Ms. Kemper?
Yes.
Ms. Wingo?
Yes.
Mr. Osborne?
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
Next item is ordinance O 2020-2024, an ordinance related to the adoption and approval of text amendments to the Boone County zoning regulations text as applicable to the city of Florence, Kentucky. These amendments being to section 3655, fences, is applicable only to the city of Florence, Kentucky to allow fences within corner side yards. The ordinance adopts and approves text amendments to the Boone County zoning regulations text. These text amendments being section 3655 fences as applicable only to the city of Florence, Kentucky to allow fences within corner side yards subject to certain restrictions. The full text of ordinance O 2024 is, including its exhibits, is available for examination in the office of the city clerk of the city of Florence, Kentucky, 8100 Union Boulevard, Florence, Kentucky, during normal office hours. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo?
Second.
Second, Ms. Chambers. And we did discuss this at our caucus meeting, but again, this is a zoning issue, so is Mr. Nguyen or Ms. Wingo or Mr. Hunt?
Yeah, I mean, we went over the illustrations last week. It's really corner side yards. You see this a lot, and it probably stands out the most if you drive through Orleans North. There are a lot of houses on those corner side yards, and it looks weird if the fence is aligned up with, right parallel with the back corner of the house. It'll be able to extend out with the change in this regulation. That's really what it is. And there's some small stuff with industrial that you're not going to see applied.
Any other discussion?
I just want to say this is a good step in the right direction to give people more freedom to make the decisions on how they want their property to look. I also want to say that I've been personally affected by the city's restrictions on fencing, and I hope that we can, in the future, consider more flexibility when people are deciding how to care for their home.
Thank you, Leslie. Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Wynn.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Next will be the first reading of ordinance O-21, 2024. This is an ordinance relating to the adoption and approval of text amendments to the Boone County zoning regulations text as applicable to the city of Florence, Kentucky. These text amendments being considered for enactment to regulate cannabis businesses that may become authorized by Kentucky Revised Statutes, KRS 218B.010 through 218.155, as well as House Bill 829 and other applicable law within the Boone County Planning Unit for Boone County, Kentucky, subject to the recommended terms and provisions set forth in the Technical Design Review Committee report. This ordinance adopts and approves text amendments to the Boone County zoning regulations text, these text amendments being enacted to regulate cannabis businesses. The full text of ordinance O-21, 2024, including its exhibits, is available for examination in the office of the city clerk of the city of Florence, Kentucky, in the Florence Government Center, 8100 Ewing Boulevard, Florence, Kentucky, during regular office hours. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Wynn? Second, Mr. Carroll. Again, this was discussed at Planning and Zoning Committee. This was discussed at caucus. And if there's any further discussion, we'll entertain it now.
Do you have a map to show the available areas?
Leslie, I knew you were going to ask that.
Oh,
The
that's
answer is no, I do not have a map. We went over those. I can provide a map later, but I do not have it tonight. But there is a map. There's actually going to be a GIS layer created that everybody will be able to access. So,
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Wynn.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
We have first reading of ordinance O-22, 2024. It's an ordinance relating to the adoption and approval of Chapter 122 of the City Code of Ordinances to regulate medical cannabis businesses in the city of Florence that may become authorized to conduct business pursuant to Kentucky Revised Statutes, KRS 218B.010 through KRS 218B.155. Chapter 122 shall include the regulation, permits, issuance of licenses, assessments of fees, suspension and revocation procedures, and hearings and appeals. The city's Code of Ordinances is hereby amended to include various regulations relating to medical cannabis businesses pursuant to Kentucky Revised Statutes, KRS 218B.010 through KRS 218B.155 and 915 KAR Chapter 1. These regulations shall address the issuance of permits, licenses, assessment of fees, suspension and revocation procedures. These regulations also address application procedures for the issuance of licenses and permits. The full text of ordinance O-22, 2024, and including its exhibits, is available for examination in the office of the city clerk of the city of Florence, Kentucky, at the Florence Government Center, 8100 Ewing Boulevard, during regular office hours. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Carroll.
Second.
Second, Ms. Wingo. Again, we did discuss this at caucus. Is there any further discussion?
I'll just add, I think these, from a city level, this is probably the first set of business license passed in the state. I've looked everywhere for anything on agenda. We've had a few cities reach out to us looking to mirror our ordinance and requested that we send it to them. So good job to Todd and Justin for getting on this and putting it together. This was a big to-do.
It was about 100 hours worth of work.
It's a lot of
For
work.
a question that we weren't sure how the citizens were going to vote, and
Sure.
we were ready once they did, so. All right, any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Wynn.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
Next, we have municipal order MO 13, 2024. It's a municipal order approving a certain Northern Kentucky Paramedic Program agreement between Gateway Community and Technical College and the City of Florence, Kentucky. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Wingo, second by Mr. Nguyen. Any discussion? We did discuss this at the caucus meeting. This is a agreement between Gateway and the City of Florence to provide paramedic training, and in exchange for a location, they do receive 3 spots for our employees. So is there any other questions? Chief, do you have anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
We have 2 municipal orders here regarding the water service agreements. So the first one is going to be a municipal order MO 14-2024, and it's a municipal order approving an amendment to update an existing maintenance agreement of the City of Florence, Kentucky with Boone Florence Water Commission, and authorizing and directing Mayor Dr. Julie M. Abishon to execute this maintenance agreement amendment on behalf of the City of Florence, Kentucky. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo?
Second.
Second, Mr. Carroll. Mr. Hall, would you explain this?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So I think most of you are aware that we purchase our water through Greater Cincinnati, and in order to do that, we have formed a Boone Florence Commission, and this Boone Florence Commission serves Boone County Water District and the City of Florence, and they sell water to us. Now, to transport that water from Greater Cincinnati and to Boone County and Florence, there are transmission mains, and that is specifically what this maintenance agreement is for. So the way it works is we have 30-inch, 18-inch, 42-inch transmission lines that transports that water from the river to Florence and to Boone County. Everywhere that it is within our boundaries, it is our responsibility if something happens to maintain that line. That's what this agreement is for. Now, we maintain that line, but we also get reimbursed back based on whatever work we do. So this is updating that. It's been a little bit since we last updated, and as we annex things into the city, for example, Marydale used to be in Boone County's jurisdiction when it came to maintenance. Now that we've annexed that into Florence, now that transmission main that runs all along Houston Road and Donaldson is now under our purview. So it just cleans all that up, and we clean some language up, so in the future, as annexations happen, it just automatically, if it's in our boundaries, it's our responsibility to maintain it and get reimbursed for that work. So it's just getting some things cleaned up, so we don't have to come back every time we annex into the city. Does that make sense?
Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
All right, and this is a companion municipal order, MO 15-2024. It's a municipal order approving an amended water service agreement between the City of Florence, Kentucky and the Boone Florence Water Commission for purposes of extending their current agreement for the sale and purchase of potable water to February 28, 2049, and authorizing and directing Mayor Dr. Julie M. Abishon to execute this amended water service agreement between the parties on behalf of the City of Florence, Kentucky. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Nguyen?
Second.
Second, Ms. Wingo. Eric, do you have any additional comments on this one?
Just real quick, so the difference between this one is, about a year ago, this council approved our relationship with Boone Florence and Greater Cincinnati purchasing water agreement. So that agreement was taking place about, a year and a half ago, which extended our contract to February 28 of 2049. So in our agreement with Boone Florence, right now, it only goes until 2028. So what we're doing is mirroring the agreement we have with Boone Florence and Greater Cincinnati with Boone Florence and City of Florence.
Any other questions, discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
And our final municipal order is MO 16-2024. It's a municipal order approving a certain COPIC, COPIC Paramedic Pilot Program, Grant Contractor Agreement for Services, and Memorandum of Understanding between St. Elizabeth Medical Center Incorporated, doing business as St. Elizabeth Healthcare, and Florence Fire EMS. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo? Second, Mr. Nguyen. Is there any discussion? Chief Wren?
About 6 months ago, about budget retreat time, was the last time anyone heard anything about the community paramedicine program. So this memo goes back into some of the highlights of what we had outlined for the community paramedicine program. The memo explains the idea of Florence Fire and EMS looking into entering a contract with St. Elizabeth Healthcare and Covington Fire Department in a joint community paramedicine program. This program would offer the following benefits to our community. It provides the citizens of Florence accessibility to needed resources which normally would be limited due to transportation or medical conditions, such as assistance with access to primary care through virtual visits. The techs would be out on site with them to maybe help someone walk through that process if they're not very familiar or not very tech savvy. Assistance with pharmaceutical refills, assistance with home services, and securing transportation to appointments, simply lining up rides or availability to get to an appointment, providing a list of local resources for healthcare needs, referrals to different types of services that they might need, helping the patient to develop a plan to independently manage further healthcare matters. It reduces some of the benefits on our side of it, is it reduces the non-emergency calls that we are often taxed with. And the 911 system is not only taxed with us, someone maybe taking someone for bad blood results or something to the hospital, then we don't have a piece of apparatus that's available for an actual car wreck, cardiac event, something like that. It also taxes our dispatch center downstairs. So it's the whole system that this plays a burden on. This can help alleviate some of that. It reduces the number of readmissions for patients due to access to resources, improving the quality of life, which is one of the biggest factors why the hospitals like to look at this type of system. That's where it's a benefit on their side. It builds a relationship between the community and Florence Fire and EMS, and it strengthens relationships between Florence Fire and EMS, St. Elizabeth, and also the Covington Fire Department. So it's a joint effort between all three entities. The personnel that we discussed back at the budget retreat, the part-time personnel that will be doing this, would be under the understanding of this is a pilot program. This is a one-year program. So at the end of that, that understanding is out there that if something happens and it doesn't continue, then that's part of their hiring.
Is there any other discussion?
As I remember when we talked about it at the budget retreat, the personnel, part-time or whatever, that'd be responsibility of St. E.
No, those people, Mr. Carroll, those people would actually be employees of the city of Florence. They would be 2 part-time personnel, and they would be under the understanding that it is a pilot program.
Any other questions?
I think just to clarify, we do receive reimbursement from the grant through St. Elizabeth Hospital for the hours that the folks are spending. I think it's 16 hours a week. Is that right? Okay.
And then the next page goes a little bit into
Yeah.
the grant portion of it as well.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Chambers.
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen.
Yes.
Ms. Kemper.
Yes.
Ms. Wingo.
Yes.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 6-0.
For the mayor's report, just a reminder, the City of Florence leaf collection runs through December 19th. Contact the Public Services Department at 859-647-5416 for more information. The schedule is also on our website, florence-ky.gov. City of Florence is collecting non-perishable food items, including peanut butter, canned fruit, fruit cups, applesauce cups or pouches, canned tuna and chicken, dried beans, tomato sauce, fruit bars, and granola bars to benefit the Collins Elementary Family Resource Centers beginning November 1st through November 15th. You may drop off non-perishable items in the Florence Government Center lobby until this Friday. The Florence Police Department is participating in their 7th annual No Shave November benefit. All proceeds from funds collected will benefit the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Cancer Unit. Each participating officer will donate at least $25 to this worthy cause. This year, they have set a goal of raising $2,500 for Children's Hospital. Anyone can participate and donate. The link to donate is on the Florence Police Department's Facebook page and the city website. All right, get ready to spread some holiday cheer. We are excited to announce a Christmas card contest where you can create the most creative, festive cards for our local seniors. Winners will be announced at our Christmas tree lighting on December 3rd. So please submit your entries and all cards to the Administration Department by November 26th for judging. For more information, you can contact the Administration Department at 859-647-8177. Join us for our annual Christmas tree lighting on Tuesday, December 3rd from 5 to 7 here at the Florence Government Center. This festive event will feature our traditional tree lighting at 6:45, along with a Winter Wonderland Village. Enjoy elf craft stations, a North Pole mailbox, a hot chocolate bar, visits and photos with Santa, story time with Mrs. Claus, a train display, and stunning light displays from our Public Services Department. For more information, you can contact Tina Benjamin, Community Services Coordinator, at 859-647-5425. Is anyone on council desire recognition?
I would.
Leslie?
Do we have an update on the lights for the skate park?
Sure. So the electrician completed all the work at the skate park this week. We were hopeful that the building department, the inspections are scheduled and should be either completed by the end of this week or early next week. And then there's a 10-day window we have to give Duke Energy to install the meter. So we're close.
Thank you.
Anyone else on council?
Mayor, we had another nice Veterans Day program Saturday afternoon. It was very well attended by our community and a lot of our staff. We had the band there, we had the chorus there, and various people from throughout the community. Several nice speeches and comments during it, and it really is an attribute to have that in the community. It went quite well.
Thank you. I think the staff worked really hard, putting everything together, and thank everybody for coming. Any department heads? Jason?
Like to shout out everyone who organized the witness tree throughout the past week and a half or so. I thought that was excellent, very moving on Monday for Veterans Day. So appreciate that. Appreciate all the hard work there.
And thank you for your service. Anyone, any other department heads? Anyone in the audience desire recognition? All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Carroll. Second, Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming.